people are just inherently defensive. I know from like an internal perspective, feedback is more important than a sale. And I also know from experience, if I pursue feedback, I'm going to end up making a sale. Let's talk about how you get your first 5 paying customers. This is a big goal, right? It's a big lift. And often founders can find themselves with a built product. And unfortunately, they didn't do the lead gen beforehand. So now they're kind of in a place of, all right, well, I've got this product I want to sell. I want to get people to start using it, but I'm kind of stuck at an impasse. I don't know, or I'm uncertain how to confidently push forward and turn either potential leads that I have, potential relationships that I have, or opportunities to acquire customers. I don't want them to all turn to sand. I want to find a way to do this well. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So keeping it nice and simple, especially at the early stage, there's really only 3 places you're going to get customers. First is going to be sales. This is one-on-one. This is warm and cold outreach, meaning people you know already and people that you don't know. This is talking to them, engaging them, and converting them. Second is going to be marketing. Marketing really can be broken into 2 pieces: brand marketing and performance marketing. And if you want to be real easy with this, performance marketing is really well defined, because it's, if you're spending money, such as on a Facebook ad, such as on Google paid per click, such as if you can track well on a conference to try and get customers, you're putting in money, you're trying to get out a specific number of customers, you're looking to track performance, right? So anything that is like clearly an ad or clearly designed for money as the input and customers are the output directly, that is going to fall into the performance bucket. Everything else, all those blogs you write, the website you have, the tweets you post, the YouTube videos, the everything else, those are all brand market pieces. Those are all building the brand generally. They're not converting customers directly. That may, and in large part does at scale, convert majority of your customers. Most people are buying Nike not through a Nike paid ad, but because they know about Nike, right? But when you're early, you're going to need to probably do both. And we'll talk about that. And last but not least, business development, my favorite, which is relationships. It's someone who is connected to your customer, someone who can bridge that gap, and you can lean on their relationship, their trust, the parts of them that, of course, can make it easier for you to ultimately sell. So we're going to talk a little bit about each one of these. So some truths about sales. Selling is the easiest with proof, but it's always possible. Meaning there are people, and you know this, that have scams, right? They sell real estate in places to people, and they don't even own the real estate. They have, fraudulent businesses and photos of warehouses that don't exist, and they sell. I'm not saying you should go fake things by any means, or you should go lie to people, but there are absolutely people with the skill set to sell something to just about anybody if they're good enough, they know the audience enough, they're that personal enough, they're a commanding salesperson. For everybody else, because that's like 1% of the market, it's going to require proof. Proof at its simplest, again, making it easy to define, is results. Results is if you're more like a B2B business fundamentally, like you save 30%, you generated X more revenue, you avoided 100,000 in fines. Notice you can really quantify that. That's pretty compelling to sell the next customer if you can say you helped the last customer save 100 grand. For consumer products, and this isn't exclusive, I'm just painting with a broad brush here. For consumer products, you're going to get more in the testimonials, meaning if someone's using a consumer app, oh, I loved it, 5 stars, or I would definitely recommend it to a friend, or here's a video of me using it, and then they post it to social media. Notice this is very kind of public presence. It's from the perspective of the reviewer, of the audience. What do they like, and does it get kind of that passing approval? The more of this you have, the more results you can show, the easier a sale is. To make it super easy, who are you going to trust? The lawyer with 0 cases under their belt, or the lawyer with 1,000 successful cases? Clearly, again, it's obvious. Here's a number, here's a really important lesson that a lot of people, they forget, but it's a really good play. In fact, I think it's the play. Customer 5 doesn't know if customers 1 through 4 paid or got a discount or brokered or did whatever. They just know there were 4 other customers. Now, this doesn't mean you have to give away your product for free, but if you had no proof, no background, no ability to have a compelling kind of sales push without customers, without testimonials, I would highly consider it. I would even use, again, company funds, as long as it's not a huge loss. I would eat the loss, right? If it costs me a couple hundred or, again, even a couple thousand to build some case studies, that's worthwhile, because if I believe in my product, I'm going to be able to prove results, and then I'm going to be able to use those case studies, those testimonials, those net promoter score reviews in customer 6, 7, 8, 9, and 1,000. That's a much, in my experience, a better way to go about it. I would encourage you to not expect early customers or really any customers to care about your brand. Now, maybe you'll be lucky and they do, right? Maybe you're making the next Tom shoe and you have like a heart in your business and all that. I love it. But your customer doesn't care. Remember, they're listening to what's in it for me radio, right? They want to know what's going on and how it's going to benefit them. Now, this is actually to your advantage, because that means that you don't have to matter. They just have to care about themselves. And if a problem is big enough and painful enough, and if you're the guy who can solve it, well, all right, I can spare 15 minutes for you. What can you do for me, right? And then you're in a sales process. Now let's talk about marketing. So marketing, as we talked about, is a combination of this brand side, which we'll call organic, right? It's just what you're doing organically in the world, and paid, which is more that performance side. You're spending dollars with the hope of getting customers. Typically, a combination of both is best, because you can post organic content till you're blue in the face, but one, most people don't really love doing that, and two, it's not as efficient to learn what people like unless you're lucky enough to get some videos that that get really popular and thematically can go, oh, we need to make more content like this. If that's not happening for you, or it's not happening very, obviously, often supplementing with paid marketing can be really helpful, because then you get this constant flow of, is this working? No. Is this working? Yes. Okay. Now we can start to kind of use the two in tandem to go, hey, this language worked kind of on our paid marketing. Let's try making some organic posts that uses the same. Hey, that's performing better. And now you're using the two to benefit each other. And likewise, if you see a video go crazy viral, you post 20 tweets a week and 2 of them go especially viral, I might consider making an ad that uses language from them or speaks to something from them. It's a lot easier to kind of use the universe's signals. Few people love recording videos, writing blogs, doing anything when it comes to marketing, unless you're a marketer. And even then, a lot of marketers want to manage the work. They don't want to do marketing. And it really comes down to, again, you've heard me probably say this in other videos, but how bad do you want it, right? If your business is consumer focused, if you're making a fitness app and you have no social media presence, how do you reasonably expect that to work? Unless your clients are only gyms and the gyms don't care about your social media, fine, right? Because your product is so good and it's a gym management platform, blah, blah, blah. Great. If it's not that, and it's something that needs to be learned about, or there could be a community built around it, the idea would be, hey, if you're building something for rock climbers, be in the rock climbing club, right? Make rock climbing posts, build a community around yourself in a way that allows you to engage in a way that's authentic. I'm not saying you have to go make very cheesy, corny, super well-produced videos. You just have to get on camera or get in a text field and say something that your audience can connect with, can identify with, and you can start to add, again, 1, 3, 5, 1,000 people to it over the weeks and months to come. It's an important truth of marketing that time ticks forward, and marketing isn't something you can rush. You can make 100 sales calls in an afternoon. You can make 100 posts on Twitter in an afternoon, but it's not going to make you go viral. Probably quite the opposite. So marketing is something that just definitionally takes time. And because of that, it's important to get ahead of it, because if you get ahead of it, it can actually be 10x more advantageous. Because what if these little BS posts that you don't think that much of end up building the whole audience that's 50 people that are going to be your beta users? And the results you get from that beta inform your product development. And the fixes there allow you to go to market and start converting from day one. Like, you have no idea what's available if you just are willing to try. And you're willing to, again, go, how bad do I want this? Do I want it bad enough to feel awkward and stare at a webcam for a bit? It's like, if so, do it. And if you don't, find someone that will on your team, or recognize that, hey, maybe of the 3 channels, sales, marketing, and biz dev, marketing's not your thing. You have 2 choices. You can either go really, really hard on sales and biz dev and hope that works, or you can still do sales and biz dev and, again, do the mature thing, the mature founder thing, which is find a way to at least try marketing. It could be that marketing isn't your thing, right? In terms of it's not going to lead to the business's major success. P.S. I doubt that. But it's one of those, let's say it's not. I'd rather you at least determine that through trying than you just like push it off or say it's not us or it's not worth it. It's just, that doesn't speak to your ability to prioritize your long term. And I understand there are near-term needs, but there are always going to be near-term needs. It's not like you're going to be the CEO of a $3 million a year company and all of a sudden your schedule's free. Like, that doesn't happen. So this is something that I want to encourage. If it's relevant for you, it should be prioritized by you. A note here, because it's really easy to waste a ton of time and money here. People will run ads. People will hire their cousin for free or for $30 who took one Facebook ad course from Tai Lopez. Like, you need people that know what they're doing. And sometimes that person needs to be you. And if it needs to be you, the nice thing is YouTube is free and digital marketers love to educate. There is infinite content on everything from editing, ideating, storyboarding, content calendars, softwares. Like, I'm part of this, in a very small way. I'm approaching it more from the finance and business strategy side, but there's no reason to have any issue with marketing as far as getting activated, because the education is absolutely there for you. Doesn't mean, though, you should sink 1,000 hours into here, because here's the word of caution. A lot of people will actually, or let's put it like this, the chunk of people that do this, there's a piece, they go super hard into marketing. And it's not because they love marketing, it's because they're scared of sales. They don't really want to talk to the customer. They just want to make tweets. And it's like, that's fine. I understand you're nervous, but we got to learn, right? And somebody on the team has to talk to the customer and really see what's going on. Because unless you're that 1% of 1% of startups that has a big audience, has a great product, and is able to launch it to them really efficiently, you're likely going to need to start building your audience day one by building customer by customer. Again, in the beginning, you're getting customers 1, 2, 3. And then you've got case studies and momentum, and you can start making posts about testimonials and results. And now your brand image is getting better. And now you're making content people care about. And now you went from converting customers 1, 2, 3 to 300, 400, 500. But it had to start somewhere. Next, some truths about biz dev. Business development is more my specialty because it's about relationships, and it's about, fundamentally, in my experience, aligning interests. People want things. Rich people want things. Poor people want things. Successful people want things. Unsuccessful people want things. People have desires. So what that means is the river's already flowing one way for them. Like, they have a way. The best thing you can do is get in a boat that's going the same way. Find a way to align your interests with them. And then, as long as you're not, suspicious or, sketchy or offering a bad deal or something, they're going to be inclined to listen to you. They're going to be inclined to convert with you, because aren't you going the same way that they are? Aren't you doing what they want? It's really important, because a lot of founders are stuck, understandably so, in what do I need and how can I get this? And they go into networking events and it's like, what can you do for me? What can I do for you? And in a perfect world, you ask 20 people, what can I do for you? And everyone says something, but two of them say something that you can do for them. And then when you do it for them, the exchange is you get what you want too. So it's, hey, I want to talk to your community. You send that to 22 community managers, and two of them go, hey, will you teach a lesson in our community? We want to teach them about models. We want to teach them about pitch decks. We want to teach them about fitness. Now, all of a sudden, they were looking for just someone like you, and you were looking for just someone like them. Like, this is an art and a science. The science is, again, the negotiations and all of this, but the art is really thinking through and asking the right questions. What are you looking for? What do you need? How can I motivate you? Some relationships are active from day one, meaning some people you've known for forever, they know what you do, they have a lot of trust in you, and away you go. Meaning, I, for example, have a lot of relationships with, for example, lawyers. And I meet new lawyers all the time. And it takes about 20 minutes talking to me as like a brand new lawyer. And you go, oh, this guy works with lawyers and he knows them and he seems competent. Again, not tooting my own horn, but it's one of those, they get instantly very comfortable, even if it's a new relationship, because I'm so validated through the chain of other lawyers and likely whoever introduced them to me, etc. That relationship, active day one, they're sending intros, they're doing this, and great, because that trust was kicked on in the beginning. This is not how that started, to be clear. In the beginning, I was just one more schmuck among the masses that had no brand, no credentials, no testimonials, no history of track record of success. Makes it harder to, mobilize people. But notice just because it started small doesn't mean it couldn't get big and get really activated. And in the beginning, I was totally okay with just investing time. Because the nice thing is when you invest time, remember, you're not just like throwing it into a black hole. People grow, people mature, people become successful. And then all of a sudden, you're at the mountaintop with other people that you met at the bottom of the mountain. Now you start doing some real fun business. So this is a push to think not only in terms of the short term and the relationships, but to think about who you're surrounding yourself with, what track record you're building, and how you can use that trust to your advantage. An important note about biz dev, because again, people get nervous about it, is it can be direct or indirect, meaning I can go directly to my audience. As an example, let's say I wanted to pitch something to like high school students that were taking the SAT, just as like an easy example. I could go straight to the schools, right? Because that's where the high school kids are. But I could also go to the test prep thing that caters to high school students. I could go to the community thing that has a lot of high school students. I could go to places that aren't specifically for high school students, but to just have a large presence of them. And I'm hitting my same audience, right? As an example, there's a soccer club. Maybe it's easier to engage the students via their soccer coach than it is via the school board, right? And at the end of the day, you're just trying to get them like tutored for their SAT or something. So notice there's a lot of ways to get to the same audience via different relationships. So it's important when you're thinking through who you want to meet, don't just look at the one way you can conceivably think of meeting them today. Think about all the different ancillary ways, directly and indirectly, that you might be able to meet them as well. Second part to this is these relationships can be both formal and informal. Formal meaning you have like legal documents and you pay them a percentage and you do this and there's client management requirements, whatever, right? Informal could just be they send you an email with an intro every couple of weeks or once and then never again or every day. It doesn't really matter how it works. It just matters that it works, especially in these early days when we're trying to get these first 5 customers. I will tell you, this is a harder place to go because it's sales. Remember, you're selling. So you're leaning on the product and on the customer's problem. In marketing, you're speaking to the customer as well, and you're trying to build that relationship. In biz dev, you're talking to someone that has the customer's trust. That's different. That's harder because now you're asking them to put their trust in you, that the trust that the audience has put in them isn't taken advantage of, right? The last thing they want is your buddy is the head of a community of lawyers. You want to meet lawyers. You ask for an intro and you go make a fool of yourself. Now your buddy feels a fool and looks like one. that's a risk, right? In that same scenario, if your buddy knows how focused you are and knows your presentations and knows this, and you show them all the stuff you're going to do, now all of a sudden you've removed the risk. You've made them feel more comfortable. And now they make an intro and they want to do more and more and more. And then sometimes those informal partnerships, they go, hey, we're doing a lot of business together. This is great. Let's formalize it up. It's like, perfect. Now we've got a good relationship. Now we're going. That's how it evolves. In the beginning, this easy kind of play of, let's say, those first 5 customers is, using the lawyer example, my buddy is the head of a law community and I have a product that's for lawyers. Great. If I can get him to make specifically, not to the whole community, but hey, friend, do you have 5 intros that you can make that will review my product or that you think have need high enough that they would take a meeting with me? Here's the product. Here's what it does. Here's how it works. I'm really confident. I'm de-risking it. I'm pitching, right? I'm not just assuming I can tap my friend and then all of a sudden they're going to give me access. They have responsibilities too. Creating an efficient plan. So it's important to recognize you can absolutely get customers to pay from day one, but often this is really hard. And sometimes it's more efficient to not do that. Sometimes your time to cash is actually quicker if you give your product away a few times than it is if you just try and charge from day one. You can skip the free portion, meaning either giving it away completely for free or a discount or whatever, if you either A, have really compelling proof, meaning like if you have a product that provides X results, let's say like it improves, X metric, but you have a whole history of 20 years of improving X metric, okay, you could probably charge from day one, right? Because it's like you're the guy or you're the girl that's doing this, so we can lean on that and away you go. Or, and again, this is just a smaller percentage of people, let's just be practical, you're really good at sales, right? If you're top tier at sales and you know you're a salesperson and you think you can close from day one and your product's that good, by all means, charge from day one. Do the same process, but just charge money from the very first day if you can, by all means. Here is the way that I do it. This is probably the most important or one of the most important little bullets. Freemium or paid or free to paid, these are often the best strategies. Freemium is very simple. If freemium is either part or all of it is free for X amount of time or X features or whatever it is. And this motivates people to start using it, you to start getting feedback, the cycle to continue to move in this kind of startup food chain. But then you can also offer certain parts of the app, or maybe you're only offering it for a certain amount of time, which then pushes to a paid version or pushes to a premium version that costs $10 a month or $100 for a lifetime access, whatever it might be. Free to paid is my actual preference. Free to paid is, here's the full platform, here's everything. We're going to give it to you for X amount of time or X amount of usage or X amount of whatever. And if you like it and if it's working, then at this point you start paying. So what that means is basically their default is they're going to start paying unless they say no. So it's like it's an agreement to agree. This is nice because fundamentally what it says is, hey, and I structure my agreements very fair because I'm not trying to hold a customer hostage. Like that's just horrible business practice. But I structure it very simply of, hey, you can let go of this at any point. But if it's doing what you need and delivering results and driving value, I hope that you're willing to pay for it. And our price, I have 1,000 metrics I could justify, is definitely fair and reasonable. And you're going to be ROI positive at the end of this transaction, et cetera, et cetera. I am using this actively. Like this is in companies that I work with and advise and own right now. And I'll tell you, it works. It really does work. My opinion is that the number one goal of any early stage business looking to get paying customers is to get case studies. And case studies, you can build it how you want, but it's testimonials, it's written feedback, right? It's showing that results were delivered. It's showing key metrics. It's seeing net promoter score, the customer's feedback on your service or solution. It's making sure that you have proof it works, because whether or not you see it, and I encourage you to watch yourself. How many times do you go to Amazon and, of course, before you click buy, you look at the reviews? You want to lean on somebody else's experience. How many times when you go to a new website and let's say you're going to try a new app or a new software, the thing that gives you comfort, besides, of course, it looking fancy and nice, is all the testimonials, is all the results that they show that prove, hey, trust us, this works, we promise, right? You don't have to trust us, you can trust our customers. That's really compelling, right? And it's a really big asset in the war chest that a lot of people overlook because they're focused on dollars and they stop thinking about the critical area of we need validation, we need momentum, we need proof. That's going to drive more dollars than just the pure pursuit of dollars ever would. Here's a step-by-step. So again, I've broken it down, I think, a good amount so far, but I want to give you a few more pieces to, again, if I was doing this tomorrow morning, this is what I would do. Sales and business development. The very first thing is I'd make a list of all the contacts that I think could be a customer for my product. And this is B2B or B2C, I don't care, or connect me to them. So first, I want to know, where am I playing on the relationship game? Because remember, I'm assuming that I'm not going to get 100 sales from posting on my website to start. I'm assuming that I'm going to have to start by having conversations with my customer. Second is I'm actually going to prepare my web presence. Now, I'm not preparing a web presence because I think I'm going to be converting 1,000 people a day on it. What I'm doing is I'm making sure that the people I talk to have a place to land that further builds my brand. A place where when they land on the website, they go, oh, this looks nice, and they have this, and there's a nice button here, and there's no typos. Like, I want someone to be able to have a conversation with me, and they look me up, whether it's on LinkedIn or Instagram or Twitter or the website, whatever, and feel that there's a real business. Even if it's not a multi-million-dollar, it's Apple level, it still exists. And it exists at a 7 out of 10 quality that de-risks any, again, how often are you going to restaurants, or how comfortable would you be going to a restaurant that wasn't listed on Google? You'd probably be pretty nervous, and reasonably enough. Third thing I would do would be to prepare demos, sales materials, and any legal documents. Meaning, I'm assuming you're post-product at this point, because again, we're trying to get paying customers, right? Have demos, have videos. Imagine the customer was late, or a lead was late to a meeting, or a lead made the request, because this often happens. Hey, can you send me over anything? Hey, do you have any materials I can review? Hey, do you have anything I can check out? You don't want to say no, right? Because this is going to be part of a sales process, the nurturing of the lead, regardless if it's a business development relationship or the end customer or an investor, whatever. Having demos, having proof, having efficient ways to showcase how amazing the thing is, really helpful. Sales materials could be everything from presentations, could be the website, could be flow charts, it could be a live, you're clicking through it and you just have it preloaded on your computer, or you bring demos to the meeting. Whatever works, I'm happy with. And legal documents. And legal documents is meant to be more of a catch-all in the sense that you have to be able to execute. If you're selling a B2B like service, but you don't have a legal sales contract with all like the core terms fleshed out, how are you going to close? Like, you couldn't close even if you wanted to. A lot of people overlook this step because it's part of admin, but you have to make sure you're prepared to close in order to close. Step 4. Sales and biz dev again, because they're the same type of thing. Sales, you're selling one person. Biz dev, you're selling a relationship, which sells more people. It's still a close to me. I would arrange 5 to 10 calls over a couple of weeks to test the waters, right? I'm looking for these beta users. I'm looking to start the dialogue. And notice, I don't want to have all the chats on a Monday, because I want to have a chat on a Monday and then learn something, and have a chat on a Tuesday, and that goes really poorly. Then have 2 chats on a Wednesday and learn something new, and then have a chat on a Thursday. And then all the conversations I had to that point help me turn that Thursday chat into a sale. If you don't give yourself time to learn, then you can't really expect yourself to be, off the rip, improving your pitch back to back to back, right? You could stack a day full of sales meetings, but if you don't take time to reflect on them and understand how to improve your pitch, you get more out of doing fewer sales meetings and actually thinking about them than having 100 that are 10 minutes long and functionally useless. Number 5, again, another sales and biz dev task. See what I learn. In a perfect world, I'm learning about what they care about. I'm picking up sales language, right? On the website, I wrote it like this. I wrote ABC. But when I talk to them, they go, yeah, 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 and then XYZ. And I go, XYZ? I thought ABC. I'm going to try their stuff. I'm going to make a post using their language. I'm going to tweak that on our website. I think they say it better, right? And this happens all the time. I'll talk to a customer, like a client that I'm advising, and they'll tell me that they got some feedback from a customer. And I'm like, that language was great. And they're like, I know, I agree. And I go, do we use that? They go, no. And I'm like, I think we should use that. And then all of a sudden they're messaging web developers and social media people trying to, again, use that knowledge, not just let it be a cool thing they learned, but be it something they got to use and implement and get value from. Number 6, a marketing task. I would then update my website, sales materials, and depending on how severe the feedback is at this point, maybe even the product. Right? If I'm learning that like nobody wants these features and nobody wants this and nobody wants that, I might have to reassess a few things. And last but not least, I continue to reconnect with the first leads, with the new leads, with everybody. Now I've got like a flow of conversations happening, and you'd be surprised how many of these conversations go from, hey, I want to get your feedback on the business or feedback on the product, or I'd love to get your insight, or I'd love to get your expert opinion. Those turn from, hey, you going, hey, let me ask you about this, let me ask you about that, to them going, hey, when's this coming out? Hey, how much are you going to charge for this? Hey, could I try this? Could we use this? Oh, you'll hook us up with a discount, won't you? It's like these conversations happen every day. And the nice thing is you can have them too. And then you close them. And then first you offer a 50% discount. The next person a 30%, the next person a 0%. And now you're building your business. So in this process, an important piece that I neglected to mention, but I want to make sure I do here very clearly is when I start this, I typically don't go in with a hard sell. Hard selling is really hard because people are just inherently defensive. I know from like an internal perspective, feedback is more important than a sale. And I also know from experience, if I pursue feedback, I'm going to end up making a sale. So when I'm reaching out and looking to talk to anybody from a biz dev contact to a potential customer in the early days, those first, again, 1, 5, 10, 20 customers, I'm asking, hey, can we meet? I'd love to get feedback on this. Hey, can I send you a demo? I want to see your thoughts. If the only thing they do is tell me they love it, tell me they hate it, tell me, oh, this is amazing, but we don't have any budget, or this is amazing, but we're going out of business, I would love them to be a customer, but I don't actually care because I'm still getting value. I'm still learning. I'm still building momentum. And if I just stack enough of those together, eventually one of them is going to go, how much is this thing? And then you get into a sales conversation. And this isn't you're going in with a guise, I would actually genuinely, literally encourage you to go in to try and learn with like force yourself to just be in learn mode and you will sell. Now, this is different after you have the first 5, 10, 20, 50 customers, because then you're kind of disingenuous to say I'm here just to learn. But luckily at that point, you can just be reaching out to people and say, hey, we have all these customers. We think this would be great for you. We'd love for you to check us out. Here's our demo. So notice that by pursuing things tactically, slowly, with the proper order and also the proper kind of overarching mindset, you make this process a lot less painful and a lot more focused on helping the customer and building the product than about making a sale. And it's kind of like pursuing happiness, where it's like if you pursue it directly, it's kind of hard, kind of amorphous. But if you just read books you like and see people you like, you get happy. And the same way that if you talk to customers and you try to understand them and you try to really build a good product, you just get sales. And that's a great thing. So hopefully this helped you. Hopefully this made this, how do I get over this hump of 0 paying customers to the first 5 and far beyond that? Hopefully this was really helpful. I have a bunch more, of course, videos coming out to teach you all kinds of practical things about being a founder. And I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next video.